we shown the 5-star Titan a couple weeks ago now, seeing how they were being changed behind the scenes. Now, I do like to do this occasionally. I called it. I did say that these Titans were impossible to balance. Because let's just take Metroplex as a 4-star. You could take out the shield gem, take out the other Titan, and then take out a decent area. And so the problem being was I sort of foresaw that with 5-star Titans, you'd be able to take out the shield gem quite easily. You'd be able to take out the other Titan quite easily. And if you could use Warpath on one side of the base with the Titan, you could probably wipe the base out with one bot and a Titan. Now that's not balance. It's not. You shouldn't be able to do that. And having Titans at the side of the base, at the top of the base, doesn't work for me. They shouldn't be there. The battle should have been at the bottom, really, rather than at the top. It just means that you can clear one side out with the Titan having a bit of an impact on that side. Even when Titans were introduced, I said that you've got this huge Titan that's 5 times, 10 times bigger than a combiner. Think about the damage a combiner does. Now, if a Titan is 10 times bigger, you would expect a Titan to do 10 times more damage. Now, realistically, not in gaming terms, but if you look at a Titan, it should be able to take that base out on its own. But we know balance-wise that can't happen. A Titan can't kill a HQ 18. And so the question was, do we have a Titan that's too powerful for the game? Or do we have them underwhelming, but then look and go, but it's a Titan and it does that? Is that it? And I feel like they kind of got it to a decent balance. It was probably where it needed to be, where it wasn't overpowered. Maybe it was when against base without a Titan, maybe. But in Wars, it was kind of balanced where it should be. It could take out the shield gen. If it's a badly made base, you could probably take it out with one bot and maybe the Titan. But it was maybe where it needs to be. Maybe a bit too powerful, but I didn't mind it too much. But with the 5-star upgrade, the extra 5 levels, I was worried that that balance then shifted to be able to take out bases really easily. What was the solution for that? Now, for me, the solution was HQ 19. That was the solution. You can bring out resistance against Titans. You can bring out something else. So, obviously, this weekend is the 5-star Titan event. Now, the worrying thing that in playtest, there's been a lot of talk about 4-star Arc being able to beat 5-star maxed out Metroplex. And to quote one of the playtesters, they sort of said, this cannot happen. You can't have a maxed out 4-star beating a maxed out 5-star. It just makes no sense. And there was a conversation between Dale and the playtester, and a couple of playtesters as well, saying, well, if you use all your abilities on the 5-star Titan, then yeah, maybe you should be able to win. Now, Titan's taking out the shield gen, I didn't think was a big problem. We've got anti-acid cores, but again, with no anti-normal damage cores. So that sort of gives Metroplex the advantage. And him being the first Titan now and getting an upgrade means that his death ray will be easily taking out the shield gen. And the big question was, when HQ 19 comes, will his ray be able to take out the shield gen when it gets an upgrade? And that's the whole conversation around Titans. But Space Ape said, hold my beer. Give me a minute. And what they've actually done is, they've actually reduced all the damage of all the Titans. So if we look here, fires a powerful photon beam, it does 6,456 damage. To target, exploding, dealing 4,304 damage. That's a lot less than what it used to do. He can't no longer take out the shield gen. And at first I thought, maybe it's just a Metroplex thing. Maybe it's just him. Then I looked at Fort Max. 4,689 damage. That's not going to take out the shield gen. Then I took a look at Arc. I thought, maybe it's just a bug. Maybe it's something else. 4,750. So all of a sudden now, this is what happens. So normally the arc, without any anti-acid cores, which you can see is none there, it's anti-fire core, anti-fire core, anti-fire core, anti-electric, the anti-acid core down there, could normally take out the shield gen. So there we go. On the shield gen, you can see there, only half. Now we're going to try it with a white creme. See if that does it. Doesn't kill the shield gen. And that is a huge change to Titans. Titans are mainly used to take out the shield gen. Right, wrong, we're not there to sort of judge that, but that is what they did. Now, there's been no announcements about this. There's been no decisions really made. No one's come out and gone, this is what we're doing with Titan. This is the reason why. But they've done this. Now, behind the scenes, the reasoning behind it is that they've reduced the cooldown of the attacks so you can use them more often. So the idea, what they're looking at is, oh yeah, you can use the acid ability twice. Rather than being over 60 seconds, it's every 30 seconds. So if you're using half the damage, but using it twice, that's the same. But it's not. Because you're using that to take out a structure that is more than 5k damage. And so it just sort of says to me that the apes don't know how we use this content. They don't know what it's used for. And so they've made that decision based on statistics alone. They think that 2 times 5k equals 10k. It doesn't. One 10k hit is a lot more than 2 5k hits. And we know that. But sad that decision they've sort of made behind the scenes. When it's supposed to be leaked out, that was sort of a conversation in test. But even test has been absolutely quiet about this. It was talked about a couple of weeks ago. Nothing's been talked about since. And it's literally just come into the game this week. And I was shocked. When this was done, I thought, oh, playtest. They've just sort of made a change in playtest, testing things. The playtesters are going to test it. They're going to balance it out. And it's just accidentally leaked into the game. That's what I really thought. But then when I started seeing the cooldown thing, and then saw it came into the game, and they'd been there for a few days now, and nothing's been spoke about it, and the apes have kind of defended the decision to reduce the ability damage. That's when I started getting worried. And even with the 5-star Titan today, I thought there might have been a bit of an update patch. No, sadly not. And it's a bit of a travesty, really, because the way that when they first came out, Titans, I said they're going to be a bit of a bystander. Not really going to be used much. And then people started getting inventive, using them on the shield gen. I was like, okay, they've got a use. And then anti-acid cores came in. People stopped Arc from taking out the shield gen. But now, what's the point? Do we really need anti-acid cores anymore? Because that was the whole point of anti-acid cores, was to stop the Arc taking out the shield gen. Don't know. But it's going to be a bit of a meta shift, this. It's going to change things. But it's also going to make that shield gen cluster a bit harder to take out. The days of someone taking out the shield gen cluster with a Titan are kind of gone. They're going to have to be a bit more inventive and find it a bit more difficult. What do you guys think? Is this a good decision by Space Ape? Is it kind of part of the balancing to balance the game? I think if it was announced and people knew about it and it was explained, I would kind of understand it a bit more, personally. But to kind of do it under the radar and not really tell anyone, that's the worrying part. I always try and defend Space Ape sometimes and go, listen, I understand the reason they've done this, but why? Is it worth going for the 5-star Titan if Arc can take out the 5-star Titan? If 4-star Arc is better than 5-star Metroplex, is there any point in going for 5-star Metroplex? If I'm honest with you, I'm not going for it. I'm going to stick with Arc. I'm going to level Arc 25. I'm going to stick with Arc. It's been in playtest. I've not been balanced in playtest. So right now, I don't even know if 4-star Arc should beat 5-star Metroplex because we've had no feedback from the apes. We haven't got a clue. And so I'm not spending $100 on a 5-star Metroplex to find out that my Arc is already better and waste that money. Especially when in a few months' time it's available for shards. especially in a few months' time when we'll get Fortress Maximus, especially when Electric is probably going to be paired with a new element coming into the game to make it more effective, which might make it a bit more effective than Metro again, and especially when after that we're going to get a 5-star arc. Don't see the point. Think, like, I don't know. I use one Titan. I don't really use Metro. I use Arc really for the shield gen. Well, I did. And you got to ask yourself: are you going to use Metro or use Arc in the future? And then make a decision and stick by that, and not go for the rest of it probably. It kind of is a bait and switch. I'm not gonna lie. To bring out something and then reduce something so the new thing does exactly what the old one did. It's kind of dodgy. They could have done something. I like the idea someone said the week of Titan Cores. That was a great idea. I can't remember who it was now. Freezer will probably tell me in the stream. But yeah, that was a great idea. Cicada. It was Cicada. Great idea, Titan Cores. Love that idea. What do you guys think? Will it bounce the game better? Should Titans have ever even done that in the first place? Let me know what you guys think in the chat.